we are talking 5 wide receivers to stash heading into the 2023 offseason here. So let's just dive right in. Number 1, it is Nico Collins. Nico Collins, to me, is an interesting stash because he has shown, pretty solid improvement over what he did as a rookie. And that's still with the same cast of terrible quarterback play, right? Kyle Allen, Davis Mills, not guys you really would think of as, wide receiver friendly quarterbacks. You can put it that way. But over the last month, when he was healthy, he was seeing 9 targets a game on a 4-game stretch. To me, that is enough to say, all right, I'm intrigued. I want to see what you're going to do in 2023, right? If you look at 2022 relative to his 2021 season, say he doesn't play again, he has already set career highs in receiving yards, in receptions, in touchdowns, and he did so in 4 fewer games. You want to see improvement, and for him to basically top everything he did last year in 4 fewer games, that's enough for me to say, all right, I want to see you with the new quarterback in 2023, whether that's CJ Stroud or Bryce Young or, heaven forbid, Will Levis. And they may go and add another rookie wide receiver in the draft. That's fine. Nico Collins in year 3 is an interesting piece to add to the end of your bench, whether it's through trade or if you're picking him up off of waivers. Next up, we have Michael Gallup. Now, obviously, when you think about Michael Gallup, you think, well, he had a 1,000-yard season just a little bit ago. It's been 3 years. It has been 3 years since he had a 1,000-yard season. And because of that, people are starting to get worried about what Michael Gallup actually is. To be clear, I don't think he is some perennial 1,200-yard wide receiver. I think he is a very good NFL wide receiver 2, and most likely a wide receiver 3 for fantasy purposes with wide receiver 2 upside. However, the reason he's a solid stash, a good buy low here, he's coming off an ACL injury that he had in week 17 of the previous season, right, in 2021. Who expects him to come in and just return to form? I don't think that was a good, indicator of what was going to happen. And even when you look at his 2021 season, right, he gets hurt in week 2. You're dealing with Dak Prescott coming back from ankle surgery. So there was just a lot of moving pieces that also led to a down 2021 season. I think 2023, we start to see more of the Michael Gallup in 2020 rather than 2019. That doesn't mean he's going over 1,000, but he's a guy for fantasy purposes. If he puts up, 50 on 850 and 5 touchdowns in Dynasty, that's a viable flex. That's a wide receiver 3. I'm fine with that. He's there for 4 more years. He signs a monster contract and he's not going anywhere. He's only 26, turning 27 here. I am fine to hold Michael Gallup. I'm fine to buy low on him with the expectation of I'm probably getting a flex or a wide receiver 3 with some wide receiver 2 upside now that he's going to be fully healthy. Number 3 on the list, it is Parris Campbell, currently of the Indianapolis Colts. Now, he's a free agent at the end of the season, and he looks to get a decent, not necessarily payday, but get a decent shot to prove himself with a second team, right? He strung together his first healthy season of his career, and he has flashed plenty to say, all right, I'm willing to take a chance on him if he lands in on a good team, with the slot role basically locked up. He has 3 wide receiver 1 finishes on the year. Is that some incredible number? No, but it's enough to say, I don't know, Buffalo goes and fills their slot role with Parris Campbell. Him and Josh Allen is significantly more enticing than Parris Campbell with Matt Ryan and Sam Ehlinger. I mean, that's the truth. You put him in Chicago as a wide receiver 2 or 3 out of the slot as well. There's an opportunity there. There are plenty of teams around the league that are looking for a productive and effective slot wide receiver, and that's what Parris Campbell can bring to an offense. So if he's out there on waivers, which he might be at this point, he still is in a lot of leagues, I believe, go and get him. If you can get him cheap as well and someone's just done with the Parris Campbell experience, I don't blame him. I'm happy to buy for like a 4th round pick, maybe even a late 3rd. He's a dart throw with enough upside to make it interesting. The next 2 here, it's similar to our running back stash video. These guys aren't going to be on waivers, or at least they shouldn't be. You're probably going to have to give up an early 3rd, late 2nd, maybe a little bit more to acquire them. I'm fine doing that now. So first name, it is Brandin Cooks. And again, another Texans wide receiver. And Brandin Cooks is still good. I truly believe he is still a very good wide receiver, right? This season, he still has a 21.1% target share, even though the production hasn't really mirrored that type of volume or the type of player he is. A lot of that can be attributed to Davis Mills Kyle Allen. I mean, the same thing with Nico Collins. Nico Collins could be great, but Davis Mills and Kyle Allen are not. That is a known fact at this point in their careers. When you're looking at Brandin Cooks, it's not even a guarantee he's on the Texans in March, let alone, come August or September next year. He's already basically said, I'm not playing for this team. That's the reason he's really not active. They can say it's an injury. That man hates the Texans, and I don't blame him. The Texans have basically wasted the back half for, these next couple of years, and part of that is attributed to Brandin Cooks signing an extension knowing exactly what he was getting into, but he wanted to get paid, so I get it. However, now he carries a $34 million dead cap hit if he gets cut before the end of this year, before the new league year starts, and guess what? That's not going to happen. He's not going to get cut. He's either getting traded with his massive contract or getting traded and restructuring. Who knows? But I don't think the most likely outcome is that he stays on the Texans. Even if he does, you have CJ Stroud or Bryce Young coming in, and he very well could still be the wide receiver 1 on this roster. Brandin Cooks has a number of different outcomes here. I'm happy to buy low on a very down season and just see how this plays out. I do think he gets moved and ends up on a contending roster with a more stable quarterback position and potentially makes some noise again in, what feels like year 30 of Brandin Cooks' very productive career. And last and maybe least, it is Elijah Moore on the New York Jets. I have hyped Elijah Moore all season, all preseason, through this season, basically. And I'm going to keep doing it because I still think he is a very good wide receiver. Elijah Moore, this is just a lost season. He's currently wide receiver 97 on the year. But right now you're looking basically at a year that was lost because Zach Wilson and him hate each other. Like, that's, to kind of put it bluntly, they do not care for each other. Elijah Moore very clearly dislikes Zach Wilson.
I don't even know. I couldn't even tell you. I don't get the ball. I don't know.
Got benched, has now come back into the fold here. And 3 straight weeks, he has increased his routes run. He has increased his targets and his target share. That is notable because this Jets team is not necessarily saying, see, Elijah Moore, you're going the way of Denzel Mims. He's a productive player. They know it. He knows it. The next quarterback should hopefully know it because I don't think the quarterback of the future is on the roster today. I think they go out and make a move for maybe a guy like Derek Carr, one of those veterans that's floating out there that can produce and put up, good solid numbers with wide receivers, multiple wide receivers in an offense. Go ahead and get him today. All right, guys, that is all we have for you. Again, if you like what we're doing, subscribe to the channel. If you have questions, you have comments, drop that down below as well. As always, thank you guys for watching, and we will see you next time.